the provisions which are existing in the Act, and specifically with regard to the provisions of the chairperson, were actually unconstitutional. So, Madam Speaker, this particular bill seeks to align the provisions in the Act with the provisions that, with what the courts have said, because both the courts and ourselves are agents exercising delegated authority on behalf of the people of Kenya. Madam Speaker, the Supreme Court, in the presidential petition, clearly indicated that the IEBC has serious institutional and dysfunctional problems. Madam Speaker, we will need to wholesomely look at the entire laws governing our elections so that we look at all these things so that we can have a seamless election, so that at the end of each and every election, we don't have the people of Kenya fighting or drawn up in groups because of the verdict of the elections. There are several provisions in this particular Act, Madam Speaker, which I think were obsolete. And the Act clearly declares some of the provisions that were in the Act obsolete, which were making reference to the first review in the first elections. So, Madam Speaker, the Act is well-intentioned. The amendment is well-intentioned. Of critical importance, Madam Speaker, is the amendment that seeks to tie the term of the CEO of the Commission, who is the Secretary of the Commission, to a period of 3 years. Madam Speaker, when we sat in the committee and we got representations from the public, specifically the Office of the Attorney General, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, the IEBC itself clearly indicated that a period of 3 years for the CEO would be a short period for him or her to be able to actually actualize what he's supposed to do in that particular office. So the committee, when we sat, Madam Speaker, and we'll be moving amendments in the committee of the whole, that we extend the period of the CEO of the Commission to a period of 6 years, non-renewable. Why were we thinking like this, Madam Speaker? Because if we have the CEO serving for a period of 3 years, we might end up having a CEO who does not conduct any election at all, because elections come after a 5-year cycle. So, Madam Speaker, we'll be proposing in the committee of the whole that we tie the period and the tenure of the CEO to the tenure of the commissioners, a period of 6 years, as recommended in our report. Madam Speaker, also, after each and every election, the IEBC is supposed to present a report. And this report is supposed to guide this particular House as to what went right, what went wrong, and what needed to be improved on in the conduct of the previous election. In the amendment, it is proposed that the IEBC does a report within a period of 18 months. We are totally in agreement with that particular recommendation, because 18 months we will have dealt up with all the disputes that are arising after the election. And then Parliament can be able to consider what pieces of legislation it needs to make in respect of the electoral process. Madam Speaker, this bill is co-sponsored. We urge members on both sides of the aisle, whether on government side or on the minority side, to support this particular bill, because it seeks to entrench consensus in matters that are very divisive, such as elections. This bill is a product of the NADCO report and the views that were received from the public. Madam Speaker, we will be seeking that both members on both sides of the aisle do support this particular report, so that we can be able to move with speed to constitute the selection panel, so that we can have the IEBC in place. Because as we speak, Madam Speaker, the residents and the constituents of Banisa have no representative in this House. They have been disenfranchised. We have, I think, another 11 wards in this particular country that have not been able to conduct elections, by-elections, because of the absence of the IEBC. Madam Speaker, this bill seeks to start the process to have the IEBC constituted, so that the people of Kenya in those particular places can be able to be represented and be able to air out their views. Madam Speaker, I support the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.